Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Watson Michael from Ceylon Institute of English and Leadership. And today we have with us Mr. Komal Nahta. So Mr. Komal Nahta is a film trade analyst. He's a TV host for film information, and by profession, he's a chartered accountant. Also, the most important thing is actually he was the Bollywood representative for BBC for almost 10 years, and the Industrial Development Bank of India appointed him as the advisor for its film financing division. So, Komal, how are you doing today?
Thank you so much. Just one correction. I'm not a chartered accountant by profession.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
a chartered accountant by qualification. But
Right.
as soon as I completed my chartered accountancy, I bid goodbye to the profession or to the degree, and I joined my father in the business of our film trade publication. It goes by the name of Film Information. Of course, at that time it was in print format, but now we are online. So it's filminformation.com.
Great. So filminformation.com, you all can get a lot of information from that. Right. So great. So Komal, I want to start with our first question. Why is leadership important?
Leadership is important because if you are going to lead people, you ought to know what leadership is all about. You cannot expect cooperation from your subordinates or from your team, not just subordinates, from your team, from the people who are reporting to you, or from the people who are working together with you. You cannot expect 100% results if you don't have leadership qualities. Because when you work as a group, as a team, there has to be someone who leads the way. There has to be someone who shows the path. And otherwise, there would be as many paths as there are people in the team, or each one would be doing his own thing. So there has to be one guiding force, and that is the leader. And he ought to know what leadership is all about, because it's not difficult. Manpower management is probably the most difficult thing in business, in your profession, in your workspace. If you can't win the confidence of the people who are going to work as a team with you, it's not going to work. So for all great results, you have to have fantastic leadership qualities.
Absolutely, spot on. Excellent. And could you, as a film analyst, and you're subject to negativity at times, so how do you deal with it, and how do you motivate yourself?
Yes, I'm subject to negativity, not sometimes, many a times, many a time. And, you've got to be very clear. When I joined this profession, when I joined my father, he is no more, unfortunately. When I joined my father, I used to get a little perturbed when people used to not really approve of what I had written or what I had said. It used to disturb me. And then I realized, within 6 months of joining my dad, I realized I'm not here to please producers or actors or filmmakers. I'm here to please my readers. And now, since I'm a television host also, or I have my own YouTube channel, I'm here to cater to my audience. They ought to be happy with what I speak or print or upload. And if in the process somebody is going to be hurt, because I'm constantly reviewing films, and the success ratio is just about 15 to 20%. So 80 to 85% of the people, of the producers and actors and filmmakers and writers, are going to be cross with me, are going to be unhappy with me. But that's not my lookout. I've got to be honest to my readers and viewers. And once you've decided that, nothing disturbs you. You don't have to motivate. You get motivated the moment your audience is happy with you.
Wow, excellent insights. Excellent insights. So these days, actually, we find many people, they are like complaining about life, that they don't have time for certain things. So what is your message for them to stay motivated on your terms?
I think youngsters especially give so much importance to their work. I also give a lot of importance to my work. I attach a lot of importance to my work, but there has to be a balance. those people who complain that they don't have time for themselves are
Yes.
heading to disaster.
Mm.
Because if you have a work and personal life balance, you're not going to really do very well, because you're going to burn out very fast. And this is the problem with the youngsters. They give their not 100%, they give their 200% to their work, which is very good. You ought to be a man of integrity. You ought to do your job honestly, but you can't become so involved in your work that your personal life goes for a toss. Because after a point of time, if you work so hard and so much, hard work is very necessary. But if you constantly 24 hours, you're only bothered about your work, you will burn yourself out. And that will tell on your results. So I think you ought to have a good circle of family and friends.
Correct.
You ought to keep your work at the side for some time, every day at least. Yeah, there may be days when you don't have time for your personal needs, in the sense, your friends or your family, but that doesn't mean that that can become a routine. As a routine, you ought to devote a lot of time, at least some time, let me not say a lot of time, at least some time to your family and friends, because they are the ones who will bring the balance in your life. And to keep yourself motivated, see, I'll tell you, sometimes it's not always that you're going to get 100% results.
True.
But when something goes wrong, or when something is not up to the expectations, you ought to tell yourself that this is not the end of the world. There's always a tomorrow. There are always different ways of doing things. And a failure is only a stepping stone to success. If you sit brooding over failure, you'll never be able to do something positive, or you'll never be able to correct yourself. So you should always be open to criticism. You should always be open to correction, and never take failures so personally that they start hampering your work. Otherwise, there is no movement forward. You've got to keep your failures behind, but learn from them. Don't repeat the same mistakes, and constantly try to upgrade yourself, upgrade the way you work. And don't really be too excited about compliments that come your way, because 90% of the people pay compliments to the face, but they may not mean them. So always be on the lookout for criticism, for negative comments, because they will motivate you to do better. So don't take criticism to heart. Don't take the negativity to heart, but learn from them. Learn from the negative comments, learn from the criticism. Try to understand why somebody is criticizing you. Try to understand what is the pain area for that person, and improve yourself.
Absolutely. Wise, inspiring words. So another important thing is how important is teamwork in order to achieve something great?
Teamwork is very important. For one, I'll tell you my shortcoming.
Sure.
I take over too much responsibility, and I'm not really into delegating too much work if the team is not proper. So what I do then, if a team member is not proper, I tend to take over that team member's work and do it myself, because I feel if I explain, and if that person doesn't work correctly, I correct him or her, and then I ask him or her to do it again, and then recheck. It'll take so much time, so might as well do it myself. But that is a negative quality in me. That's not the right way. You definitely need to devote time, because once you have explained to the team member, even if he's not up to the mark, he will definitely show improvement. And you are actually so hard pressed for time that you tend to take over that team member's work. But in the long term, this is going to affect you, because you'll be doing work which actually ought to be done by 3 or 4 people. You'll be doing it yourself. So you ought to know the ways and means of explaining things to your team members. Don't lose your temper, which I tend to, I must confess. But don't, the good part about my temper is that even if I lose my temper, I hold grudges. I forget things very fast. So at one moment, I may have lost my temper, but after 5 minutes, you'll see me joking and talking very affectionately to the same person on whom I may have, lost my temper. So I think you ought to be, you should not be short-tempered. You should not be hot-tempered. But if on an occasion you tend to lose your temper, just don't hold it against that person. Try to win his confidence, because a person who's fired, a person who gets a negative comment from you, he
Yes.
could be demotivated in front of the entire team. So
Yeah.
ensure that even if you have done that, ensure that you win his confidence back, or you at least reinstill confidence in himself, because otherwise he will not be motivated to work. So if you have said a negative thing to your team member, ensure that within 5 or 10 minutes, you point out some good point of his, so that he feels motivated in front of the team. Demotivation amongst team members can be the worst thing to happen.
Absolutely. Wise words. I'm sure this is covering much more than a book about team leadership. All right. And the next thing is, can we talk a little bit about your website? And you have so much of subscribers on your YouTube channel, 340,000 plus. So if you can just, so people can subscribe to your channel, and if they want film reviews, they can go to your website. So if you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. It's, I think, 320,000. You're generous by increasing it by 20,000. I think it's 390,000 or 320,000. I started my YouTube channel a few months before the lockdown, almost about 8 months before the lockdown started in March 2020. And trust me, we did not go into buy subscribers. There's not one subscription which we have bought, because I always believe in going the organic way. You may buy subscribers, but if they're not going to visit your YouTube channel, my YouTube channel is called Komal Nahta Official.
Yes.
If they're not going to visit it, then there's no sense in just having a great number, but not enough views. So these are all organic subscribers, organically grown subscribers who come to the YouTube channel because they find value. And secondly, when you are disseminating information, you ought to be super honest. You cannot say, okay, this one time, let me fool the readers or fool the viewers. No, you are not going to explain. And the readers, your viewers, are very, very smart. The moment they realize that you are talking lies, they're not going to come back. And the negative word of mouth that spreads about you is going to be so harmful to your reputation that future subscriptions or future readers or future viewers will decline. And therefore, you ought to be honest to your work. There has to be 100% integrity. There's nothing like 99% integrity. Either you are honest or you're dishonest. You can't say, I was dishonest this one time, because how will you explain to your readers and viewers that it was this one time? For them, a dishonest comment or a dishonest writing is dishonest, and they are not going to understand whether it's only this one time or it's always. And you may go wrong in your judgment, but being dishonest is very different from going wrong. Wrong, even Sachin Tendulkar, when he bats, sometimes he did get up for a duck. He scored a 0, but nobody pointed accusing fingers. Nobody blamed him or accused him of playing against the interest of the company. It's possible. Sometimes it just happens. But therefore, even sometimes I do go wrong in my judgment of film reviews or film analysis. But if the public, if the readers, if the viewers understand or realize that it is dishonesty, they're not going to forgive me. They're not going to condone the mistake. However, if they feel it's an error of judgment, they will overlook that, because they assess you in terms of your body of work. If you've gone right 9 times and wrong only once, they are willing to forget you. So that's about my YouTube channel. The same thing goes for my website, which goes as filminformation.com. The reviews are published there also in textual format, and the YouTube videos are uploaded there. Besides reviews, we also analyze films. We also disseminate news about all the happenings in the film industry. As my father, when he had started this film magazine by the name of Film Information, the catchline or the tagline was A to Z of film trade. We are not concerned with gossip, but hardcore trade information from A to Z will find mention earlier in the website, earlier in the magazine, now on the website. And this underlying feature, underlying philosophy is be honest. You may be wrong, but don't be dishonest. And therefore, people who are interested in knowing factual information about films and about film business, the place to go is filminformation.com.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. So for all those watching, take Komal's advice and you all can check out the reviews on his website. So one final question, Komal, before we wrap up. So what will you give what's the message actually for all the people who need motivation? What is the final message that you will give to them for them to chase their dreams?
Keep yourself motivated, and according to me, don't rely or don't depend too much on outsiders. Your motivation has to come from within. Outsiders can act as catalysts. They can show you the way, they can guide you, but till you don't motivate yourself, nothing is going to work. You ought to have that confidence in yourself. You ought to have confidence in providence. There is some power up there. There is a God who is watching over you. And if you are honest in your work, there's no way miseries will befall you forever. Yes, times are good, times are bad. There are ups and downs in life. You've got to be prepared, because nobody has come on earth with a 100% future. In the sense, nobody has come with direction from God that nothing will go wrong. Of course, there are bound to be failures. There are bound to be ups and downs. There are bound to be tension-ridden days. There are bound to be days when everything seems to be going wrong. But please understand, all that is a passing phase. Nothing is permanent here. And therefore, good times will return. And as I said, the motivation has to come from within. All you need to do is remember some successful episodes of your life, and you made that happen. So why not once again? And finally, nobody is born with the luck of God. I mean, God never goes wrong, but we are all humans. To err is human. Of course, to forgive is divine, but to err is human. I'm talking about that. So you are bound to go wrong, but let the motivation come from within. Have super confidence in yourself. Say, I am the best in what I do. And there is not much scope to fail again and again. You will rise. And remember, failure is just one step short of success. If you fail and get bogged down, that's not good. But if you fail and rise again, that is motivation, and that is your sure step towards success.
Excellent, excellent, wise words. So, Komal, thank you very much from our team. And thank you so much for taking time from your very busy schedule. We appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.